What's good? I would start yawning as soon as I went live. I'm just here to kick it for tonight. Needed to vent, 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 yeah. Hey y'all, what's up? I just got on here to just talk. I feel like today has been such an interesting day for me. We have a solar eclipse that has been taking place and a full moon. And normally the full moons don't really they phase me, but I feel like I feel them in a very, I don't know, integrated way. I think it was because I was born on a full moon, so that might have something to do with it. But I feel like all the intensity of the energy was yesterday, and today is the day that I kind of woke up feeling like, um, just really wrestling with faith. And the moon is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius energy, represents faith, how people and cultures connect to faith. It represents, you know, religion and language and a lot of those things, the things that connects our identity to our spirit, or our spirit to our identity. It oftentimes reflects that. So I feel like faith has been a big topic for me, a big conversation, and it's more so been my ability to have faith in myself. And I feel like for a long time I have worked on the part of me that needs to strengthen and have faith in God, but it's another thing to really have faith in yourself. And so I've been kind of, oh, hey, somebody's on here. Just been talking to my, oh, they left. So I've been kind of, I think I more so got on this live for myself, to be honest. But I've been dealing with what it means to really have faith in oneself, what it really means to like be grounded and believe in yourself. Hey, hey, sunshine. Yay, people are here. Don't feel so lonely. It's okay though. But I was just talking about kind of what's been happening. And, we had this full moon yesterday with this eclipse energy in Sagittarius. And I feel like when the actual energy was taking place, I pretty much I was chilling. But today I woke up and I was just kind of like, what is life? And hey, Libra lady, how you doing? And so I just been really reflecting on, my connection to my own faith in myself and my connection to faith and how I practice that. And, it's one thing to learn to have unwavering faith in God, but it's another thing to like learn how to have unwavering faith in yourself. And sometimes when you have to be grounded in that faith, it can put you in a position of feeling isolated. It can make you feel alone. It can make you feel crazy sometimes, and how to navigate that. And I realized that part of the reason why I be struggling is because as a woman, I've just learned to compartmentalize so many parts of myself. And I think this is something that we teach women and that we teach feminine energy, whatever body it shows up in. What's poppin', Monica? It's so nice to see you. Thank you for joining me. But we teach women to compartmentalize. We teach them to, you know, deal with emotions on a case by case basis, and then oftentimes to always deal with our own emotions last. Like we don't really know how to sit with ourselves. And so I've been having to work through the ways in which I've compartmentalized my faith. Where I pick and choose what I want to have faith in. And then after reflecting on that, then I notice oftentimes when it comes to myself, when it comes to me, that's typically where I'll always just make a sacrifice. And so I'm learning how to shift out of that. and but also learning how to have grace for myself while I'm shifting out of that. And then learning how to have grace for others as they're dealing with that as well. So to say the least, today I woke up feeling pretty bratty, just because how like a little kid gets when they got so much to say and they want to express it, but then at the same time they just really can't. The words just aren't sufficient enough. Sometimes words just don't soothe things. Sometimes words are the last thing that you want to connect to, because to even process the words, to speak the words, it's like I have to go through so much in here when all I'm trying to do is be here. And so I've been really trying to figure out what does this mean, especially as a person, as a woman, as in being in relationships. We get in relationships, and the hardest thing about it is maintaining being an individual while being in the relationship. And I think a lot of us forget that we practice that. We introduce ourselves to that, like with all the relationships that we interact in before we, find that significant person or that one that we really want to be. But it takes a lot of courage to remain your individualism in a healthy way while also sustaining relationships and connections with others. And I don't know, I think the world that we live in makes it really challenging. And when I say the world, I mean the people of the world. Because people, let me tell you something. People are something else. Humans, we are really like, we're such intelligent creatures. And a lot of times that is really used to our own demise. Like that is the thing that kind of blocks us from getting all the stuff that our heart and our spirit is kind of like longing for and calling out for. And I've just been facing in ways that I do that myself, and trying to get out of that. Cause let me tell y'all something. I be over here like struggling with my ego, and when I say struggling with it, cause I just feel like I should be further than where I am. And in some areas of my life, that is true. And in some areas of my life, I'm right on time. But it's also like, what part of it is the pressure that the world brings in? And then what part of it is like the truth of like my purpose calling out to me and my goals calling out to me and my dreams calling out to me. And then it's also like, are these walls and doors, are they because I'm not trying hard enough, because I'm not working hard enough, or it is, how do you handle the pressures and the resistance that the world brings you, or people, or especially people of color. Like I know everybody faces it, but I do know sometimes as a black person, I really just be like, man, what I got to do to get some attention in here that ain't toxic or weird. Like why can't ever just showing up cool and like, why can't that ever just be the thing? And then it's like, no. So it's like so many humbling things. And so sometimes I really just feel on fire, from the inside out. Like I feel like I'm on fire and I have to let it out. And I think the world needs that right now. I think we need fire. I think we need to learn how to reconnect with fire, how to release our fear around the fire. Because even when you look at astrology, fire represents all the things that connect people back to the earth and the system. So you have the Leo energy that represents the heart. It represents like monarchies and that aspect of like life. Like it's the energy that like it's the energy that gets people to believe in the system, to believe in the culture, to believe in the things. And then you have Aries. Aries is the war aspects, it's the strategy aspect. In order to have a community, a village, even a family, there has to be some type of strategy of how things structure, how things go, like even down to like mothers and fathers. Those titles, those are also giving you like, it's giving you an understanding of how to navigate, how to move through the world. And then you have Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius energy is connected to our faiths, to belief. It's connected to order, to the church, to go to like institutes, for like schools, stuff like that. And so it's like this fire energy, it makes up everything about our world and our community. It is the creativity, it's the spark, but we're often all afraid of our own fire. We only know fire through trauma. We only know fire through, oh, Lady Libra. Listen, and that's the thing. It's like right now I feel like we're being called like to just step into that, to own it. But in order to do it, you have to allow yourself the space to acknowledge the ways in which you are afraid of your fire or you're afraid of the fire of others. Practices was often used to clear the fields, prepare for the next crop. Like when fire works for you, it works for you. No, but it's clearing. It's going to clear everything. Most people want to heal the things that they can see, or they want to heal the things that they're okay with, or they want to talk about the things that, but it's like when you bring fire into the situation, fire is going to eliminate whatever needs to be eliminated. No questions, even when you think about in Christian text, like the fire of the spirit, like the Holy Spirit, like the fire in your bones. Like you can't choose what the fire is going to burn. You have to be willing to surrender, like a phoenix. You have to be willing to get through the fire and don't get stuck in the ashes. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just recognizing that the way that we move as a society is we fear that. And we fear people who are grounded in individuality. We fear people who are grounded in their own creativity in life. You ever notice like people come around, like if you're a person who may be grounded that energy, you may notice that you go around people and people seem to get triggered, or people seem to be upset, or something that you're doing that is whatever, and it's like you're calling out the part in them that needs to rise to that. And then if on the flip side, if you're a person that you get around certain people and there's a little part of you that wants to be a little jealous or be a little like question yourself or get insecure, that is your spirit telling you you are sleeping on yourself. Like that is your spirit telling you there's room for you to rise and grow, not to like shrink and like feel like you're getting burned, but to actually allow yourself to like step into something new, you know. And we can't resist that. Like we just have to, we have to let it come. And even thinking about the Bible, I like using the Bible as a reference because a lot of people have connected to that in some way. Like people know that text, people talk about it. It's a very easy way to find common ground with people, even if you still have other things that fuel your faith. But I think even in the Bible, they said, you know, the next time Jesus comes back, it's going to be fire. Like it's not going to be water, it's not going to be earth, it's not going to be air, it's going to be fire. You know, and we just had a lunar eclipse in a Sagittarius and a fire energy, asking us to really, you know, question, what do we believe in? What are we afraid of? You know, like to name those things and to really let them go. You know, at least that's what I've been dealing with in my own life. Like I share a lot of myself, but I've been realizing that I still like don't share much. You know, like people can be very close to me and still not know anything, and like that's a gift in a lot of ways. But in some ways, it goes back to what I was saying about learning to compartmentalize our emotions. You know, like, and just learning how to always put the smile on or get stuff done or show up, even if on the inside you're feeling ways. Like I have things that I went through years ago, and it's like they're like deep secrets, and I gotta let them out. You know, but also not feeling, I guess, used to it. I'm kind of just I'm used to this, you know? So even the idea of embracing fire, the idea of embracing change, it's like the first step is really allowing yourself to be okay with not being comfortable, to be okay with being exposed, to be okay with not having the answers, like to be okay with just having to trust in something outside of yourself, you know? And I feel like that's just in the air for everybody. It's like fear doesn't want to be your friend anymore. Like fear doesn't want to have any more power over you. Like fear is even coming to you, telling you like, yo, let me go. You know, release me. I want to be released. And it's that part where we have to be willing to acknowledge the part of us that is the one still holding on, is the one that's holding fear hostage. You know, like it's not the other way around. You know, even just shifting that perspective gives you a more liberated narrative, a more liberated connection to your own experience, you know, because it's very easy to get caught up in the victimization. Even if it was valid, it's still very easy to allow ourselves to just get caught up in shit that we was only supposed to let pass by. You know, like I don't know. Like, well, I do know. I kind of just explained it, but it's been such an interesting time, and I believe that people, I believe that people, I believe people's hearts are. I believe people are opening up and trying. I really do believe that. I'm learning to have a little more compassion and grace and mercy with myself and other people during their process. But there's also a part of me that's like, people need to pick it up. Okay, pick up the pace. Like, stop neglecting to do the work. Stop BSing. Stop waiting until tomorrow. You know, like, stop lying to yourself. Stop isolating yourself so you don't have to hear other people's perspectives and so you don't have to digest or process anything that you don't want to. Stop having control as a way to stunt your own growth, to sabotage yourself. Like, just stop it. Like, you know, and I'm not saying you're going to be perfect at it. I'm not perfect at it. What I'm saying is the more you allow yourself to just lean into that lane and just stay there, it gets easier. It's not about it being perfect. It's about you refining the process. It's about you refining the process of how you react to things. It's about you refining the process of how you allow yourselves to come back to things, you know? Like forgiveness takes a lot of just being willing to like, you know, be accountable for your own part. Most people are still mad and not forgiving people, not because they so mad at the other person, but because how they really feel is it's them. They're projecting what that other person brought out of them and also brought to them back onto the other person. Hey girl, Kashana. Cash money in the building. What's good, girl? Nah, but this is just the time, y'all. It's the time. And I'm saying this to y'all because this is what I be saying to myself. I am very, I won't even say hard on myself. I just know that it's one thing. I don't feel like it's enough for us to be committed to like just ourselves anymore. I think people really have to start to understand their consciousness, their spirits, and God for themselves. It is time for people to actually commit to God, commit to your purpose. When I say God, I mean life, I mean love. Commit to like actually doing the work. Like it is time. Like we're not in the season. If you look at the world around us, whether you want to bring it through this, you know, I'm not gonna say none of the words because this is YouTube, and but you know what's y'all know what's going on. Okay, it's the apocalypse. All right, but y'all know we in apocalypse. How we in the apocalypse and people still questioning whether or not they need to get their shit together? How, Sway? Tell me, how does that work? Where do they do that at? You know, like what more do we need to happen? That's how you know we are a society and a people who are stuck in victim mode, who like being in trauma. We like the drama because we really don't want to get out of our own way to heal. Even the world is falling down. Even when like it's piece of chicken little, it's chicken little out here, the sky is falling. And people are still choosing to like make excuses. People are still choosing to like maintain the same excuses, to still hold on to hurt and shame, guilt, and judgment, to not really like be real with themselves about how they feel, about their purpose, about, you know, like at what do we need? Do y'all need a war? Do y'all need like aliens to blow up the planet? Is that what y'all want? It don't have to be hard. And that's what I'm learning. And this is coming from a girl who grew up in a projects. All my life, I just thought shit was supposed to be crazy and wild. You know, so even embracing peace for me has been a journey because I've had to admit the ways in which I'm still the one that's low key addicted to those frequencies. And it's like, if everybody in their own minds and their own hearts and their own houses could just have those conversations with themselves, like how am I still addicted to drama and trauma? How am I still like using this stuff as a way to not level up, as a way to not get out of my own way, as a way to not forgive, to heal? You know, like healing is not supposed to be it's a lifelong process, but you ain't supposed to be healing the same shit all your life, you know? Like you're supposed to be healing different things as you go. It's like if you stuck on selfishness for the first 40 years, then you know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know, like I hold back a lot because again, what I was saying about fire and people being people don't like fire. People don't like to be called out. People don't like to be exposed. People don't like that. But I'm a person who just astrologically, even in my birth chart, I'm an Aries first off. Like so just off rip, like I can't hold back. I don't really have a filter. With age and maturity, I have managed to make myself a filter that I sometimes put on, especially because I do coaching and I work with clients. So I empathize, you know, like I have to hold space for people. But I also know that I am here to get people out of that energy. So if I'm speaking to you the way you speak to yourself and I'm allowing you to just stay in that energy, it's like I'm not helping, I'm enabling. And I think we're all having to accept that we need that. Even when you think about kids, like the way kids actually like discipline, you know, like no, you shouldn't be beating your kids ass and like cussing at them and stuff, but kids like structure, kids like to be corrected, kids like to know what's happening. I think as adults we tell ourselves we don't like that and we don't need that anymore, and it's like that's a lie. I need it, okay? I crave it. And it's like we won't admit that because we too stubborn, because we still got wounded egos. Like, what is that? And why? You know, like, what do you need? I guess what I'm trying to say is like healing don't have to hurt. Like life don't have to hurt. Hey Willow Toussaint. Hey, how you doing, sunshine? Healing doesn't have to hurt. You know, the process doesn't have to hurt. Forgiving yourself doesn't have to hurt. Changing doesn't have to hurt. Shifting doesn't have to hurt. Like if we keep telling ourselves that all these things are going to bring doom and gloom, or telling ourselves, oh, so I'm talking about, I guess I started with the moon, and I was talking about feminine energy and how we're taught to compartmentalize our emotions, but it's kind of leading into a space of just, I've been in my process having to get out of my own way and having to like learn how to really be honest about what it is that I'm healing, so that I'm not just walking around looking delusional. And so I guess I'm just challenging, or like, asking y'all like what's y'all's experience with that, or like what do y'all do that? Like, or like just bringing up the conversation of like what it means to really like call something what it is, and to walk in that, and to be in that. And I guess this idea of having faith, just big faith, having faith in yourself, like really believing in yourself. And I guess it led there because it's like in order to have faith in yourself, in order to believe in yourself, then you have to really know who you are. You have to know what you're having faith in. And if you don't do the work to understand yourself, if you don't do the work to know, then that's what makes the faith that's what makes it like something that wavers. Even when you think about with God, like you're supposed to have a relationship with God for yourself. And my thing with church, the way we know church, is that it teaches people to have a relationship with God, which is still kind of through a lens, and still not really a real relationship with God, because people still have like some type of middle person. But then it discourages people from having real authentic relationships with themselves. It's kind of like you don't have permission, or you can't. And it's in the way that the whole structure and the system is made. Like, I mean, if I would do a super chat, but I can't use my mom's credit. Oh, Willow, it's the thought that counts, sugar. Thank you. Hey, Lele. Charlotte, Lele. Hey, girl. But it's it's so much. I'm so excited. I just been thinking about this. It seems like it's a lot of feminine energy on this conversation. I mean, on this call. Well, it's a conversation, even though y'all technically can't. But I know y'all. I feel y'all. I see every one of y'all's faces. What do y'all feel about feminine energy nowadays, and like what it means to be a woman? Because what I've been recognizing as a younger woman who isn't married, or who doesn't have children or things like that, it's like you kind of really don't exist unless you have those things. Your narrative and your story. This is also tied into the conversation of faith that I was having earlier, or that we've been talking about, because it's like as I've been getting to know myself, as I've been getting to like figure out who I am, I've been having to figure out who I'm not and what I'm not. And in that journey, it's made me really have to process my experience as a woman, and just what that feels like in the world, what that feels like with other women. I'm a doula. I do birth work, and I had a woman basically say to me that I can be a woman's doula, but I can't express any conversation around her motherhood or stuff like that. And it's just, there's these things in our society. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Blue Sky. There's things in our society that like, it's the contradictions, and then those are the paradoxes that turn into anxiety and depression, and all the things that it's like we feel like we don't have names for, don't really know the root of. But it's like some roots that we have problems with, it's like people just won't make space for the healing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, even when you think about stuff like suicide, like it's a thing that can't be healed because people don't make space for the roots of it. People don't make space to really understand like the root. And so I've just been having so many thoughts about just like, what does it really mean, and what am I going to have to do to shift into the energy that I need to sustain my power. Like, knowing that I'm a feminine energy, knowing that I'm like, my skin is black, knowing these things about myself. What am I going to choose? I don't, child, listen, you can. Like, but it's like, what am I going to, you know how they say you got to pick your battles. And I feel like there are some things that, being a human navigating this world, you're going to have to recognize you have to pick your battles. And it's like, which battles am I picking though? And oh, this ties it all the way back to the beginning. Because even again, thinking about feminine energy, women, how we're conditioned in a lot of ways to kind of just put everybody into think of everything else before ourselves. So it's like really bringing back the awareness to being, oh, y'all are so sweet in the comments right now. I am loving it. Y'all are distracting me with y'all's kindness. It's so precious. I love it. I'm so grateful, y'all. I really love this YouTube channel. I'm like, I went live because I want to start going live more and get over my fear of like feeling weird, like nobody's on there, like this is silly. But so I really do appreciate y'all. Like YouTube has always been a part of my goals. I originally started this channel 10 years ago and gave up on it within the first year. And I came back and I was like, I'm gonna do this. And so y'all being around, y'all talking, y'all sharing, like it really means the world to me, you know, and we gonna grow because I got shit to say and the world gonna hear it, okay? Thank you, Willow. Yes. Yes, yes, Charlotte, creating space to heal. And it's like with the way the healing community has been looking, the spiritual community has been looking, the spaces we have been creating to heal don't have no fire. Okay. The spaces we have been creating to heal are very performative. People have made healing performative. And that's what I'm saying. That's what all this conversation is like. You can't fake the funk. You can't fake healing. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't fake that. It's like you cannot perform that. You have to show up fully for that and not for anybody else but for yourself. And so even in the healing spaces that we're creating, making sure that we are being real, that we are really allowing ourselves to get to the root and to like face the truth of what it is that we're healing, what it is that we're uncovering, what it is that we're becoming and unbecoming. Thank you, Kashana. I'm so proud of you. Come visit me, boo. I love you so much. We still got to make this music, okay? But it's just a lot. It's real easy to fall into being shallow and basic and fraud, okay? It's real easy to fall into like barely doing anything and being stuck uncomfortable, okay? And I guess I'm just saying, like, it's not the time for that no more. Like, now is the time where it's like the world is coming tumbling down so that way it may be built up again. And it's like, you don't, do we have to, no, you don't have to be vaccinated to travel to Belize. You can come. So far, they haven't said that. You just got to get tested before you get here. And I think they also might make you get tested once you get here because it's but hey, Willow. Willow Tucson, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to you for subscribing and thank you for being on here. Saying you had to use your mom's credit card, so you must be a little younger. So I'm grateful that young people are finding me. So thank you. Yes, welcome. You are welcomed in this community and village. And it is easy to build space for others. That is exactly it. And even if you think about the age of Aquarius, what it means to live and to be in the age of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius. You're 9. Oh my God, you could be making this up, but I'm just gonna pretend that you're not, and I'm just gonna love on the fact that you are here. Hello, little precious. Welcome. What's up, Oliver? What's popping? Yes, but that's the thing. It's very easy to hold space for others and not yourself. So even thinking about the age of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius is literally Aquarius energy is the individual, but it's not the individual in a sense of like a singular person. It is like when you think Aquarius, think of like a mosaic artwork. It's like think of many faces that make up one. Aquarius is the energy that is so grounded in its own energy. It's so grounded in its own frequency and vibration that it has no problem being a part of the community. It has no problem having community. So even in the age of Aquarius, the idea is to no longer keep being wounded healers, to no longer keep being codependent, to no longer keep doing things for others as a way to do things for ourselves and heal ourselves. My moon's in Libra, but I'm not a Libra. And so it's more so this idea of being able to put yourself first, but first in a way that's not toxic and harmful to others. You know, like that's the thing when you have to. Thank you, Blue Sky. I don't really be wanting people to know my sign, so if you hopped on this live, you just gonna know. Everybody else got to guess, but that's the thing is being able to master this energy of being yourself, but being yourself when other people are around and not having to compromise it, not having to make other people shrink or shift or shape because you can't sustain your own stuff. It's really like if you think about a choir or music, you know, like we really are just living a big old melody, and it's like everybody. It's probably the biggest. Oh wow! If you think about all the people in the world, if you think about all of them all having their own note to sing, like what type of galactic harmony is that? I want to hear that. Like that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Yeah. I don't know, y'all. I just been over here reflecting, and I wanted to share. Y'all want to see Rosemary? Rosemary, like I don't want to be seen. Rosemary, say hi. Rosemary. She said no. Yes. What can you add? I don't think you can. Do you have any influencers that inspired you to meditate? Um I didn't have any influencers that inspired me to meditate. I don't know how to answer that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, thank you, Indigo Star. I appreciate that. I could tell you a little bit. I'm never gonna drop a detailed step-to-step video about how to move to Belize. If you'll understand why if you watch my video on lose your ego before moving abroad, because a lot of people move to other countries and they take on that colonizer energy and they just go places and they don't, I don't know. So there's a level of me trying to let people figure stuff out that is intentional, because if you don't, it's going to just make your journey harder. You know, it's going to do you a disservice. But my first steps is researching, doing as much research as you can. Before I moved out of the country, I researched for 11, it's 11 people in here, child, my brain. I researched for 3 years. I literally researched for 3 years before I ever came here. I knew all the different types of people that moved here. I knew the languages. I knew what I was getting myself into. I also found as much information online about the process from other people that I could already find. So moving to Belize, it's like you don't need a visa because you have to get a stamp once a month, but you do have to account for going to immigration every month to pay for a new stamp. And that I think right now is 100 US. So it's like you need to do as much research as you can, but also have, hey Tabitha, I gotta message you back. I suck at phones, girl. What's up? You have to do as much research as you can, but also kind of be willing to talk to people. Like I found my living space by getting in Facebook groups of Belizeans, like, or like just Facebook, like really getting on Facebook and talking to people, because you have to also think it's a country that is a little, I don't like calling third world country because I think America's a third world country. Feel you? So but it's a country that doesn't have as many as amenities in some ways, and so Facebook is a large way to connect, and it's that way with a lot of smaller countries. So you really just got to be willing to put yourself out there and to do as much research as possible. I didn't come visit before I moved. I just took a leap of faith. But my process has also been harder because I took a leap of faith and I came and I didn't have people. I didn't just go and make friends. See you later, Blue Sky. Grateful for you. I didn't when I came here, the first people that I was friends with was Belizeans. Like I didn't come here and meet a bunch of other Americans or people from other places. I came and I got to know the community. I had to figure shit out. Like I was roughing, I was struggling. It was hard, like because it's the jungle. It's not like I moved to a country where it's like if I had to move to Paris or something but it's like literally even from water to getting gas, everything here is very rural if you think about it. Or somebody said primitive. A Belizean told me it was primitive, and that's a very good word to use because you can't be lazy here. You have to work for everything. So even when people ask about moving here, I feel like that's a part of the initiation process, is having to really dig. But I will say that when you're on the internet, try to find Belizeans. Don't be talking to expats. Don't be talking to white people who done, because those people are going to treat you like you are an expat coming to their country or to the country that they're capitalizing in, and they are going to want to get money from you. And when you, because the prices as a person moving to another country, when you first get here, when you first looking up stuff, it's a completely different price than once you start integrating and connecting with actual locals and people. Your rent could go from 700 US to 200 US, you know. So it's like you really have to get out of your way and talk to people, and you know, and yes, use me as a resource, but I'm also encouraging people to find their own way, so that you don't just come and have an expat experience where you're just like, see you later, Charlotte, thanks girl, I made a new facial toner, I'll be making my products, y'all. So you know, it's like moving abroad, it really does, as much as people think about the the other aspects, it's like moving abroad for people born in America, especially people of color, it's a detox. I don't think we recognize how much we are programmed in ways that we didn't think. I don't think we recognize how much of our identity has been sculpted by the very people who we are in so much conflict with. I don't think we recognize that when we are outside of America, it is very easy for us to like go into the comfort of what we've known. And so it's a detox. I would say more than anything, prepare yourself to sit with yourself. Prepare yourself to not have anything else to blame. Prepare yourself to not be able to be in control. Prepare yourself to be a student again. And yeah, because like it's easy for us because we don't buy a lot of stuff back in America. We even here, we don't buy a lot of imported stuff. Like it's very easy to just kind of chill and like go with the flow, you know, like even eating here is different. You know, stuff only comes seasonal. I can only eat mangoes and avocados once a year for one season, and like for those 2 3 months I'll be on it because it's like, or I'll freeze some or I'll make some preserves. But it really shifts your perspective. It makes you slow down. It makes you, you know, reevaluate yourself. And I think black, specifically people who are consider themselves African American, black, I think we need something like that. I think for some of us, it's not even that all of us need to just leave America forever, but I think some of us need to leave America to get a new context of who we are and to get a new context of how we want to identify our blackness, how we want to identify our culture, our ancestors, and our heritage. I don't think we realize how much of it becomes us, how much of our identity is us reacting to the world around us, or how much of our identity is us reacting to what we want or to what our people have gone through, versus allowing ourselves to really define who we are, to define how we connect with our families, to define how we connect with God off of our hearts, off of what we need, you know, not off of what we lost. And so I think moving away from me has empowered me, because at first I thought I was going to be like, I ain't never going back after that. But it actually made me appreciate being American more. It made me appreciate being an indigenous African American. And I'm like, okay, but I can see the ways in where I need to cleanse that in me. I need to detox aspects of that. And I need to see the ways, and I see the ways where I need to be more empowered in some of those aspects. More, you know, like having more authority in who I am and where I come from. And so I think moving abroad is, I think it's a fabulous idea for everybody, anybody, okay? But I just think we need to have more conversations around not being colonizers when we go to other countries, especially black people. My experiences in Belize, when the shit was getting stressful, I just been cussing YouTube. Don't. I just, you know, we was getting drama from black women from America. It was like black women from America who were coming with these programmed ideologies. You know, I'm your elder, I'm this, I'm that. Like, you know, coming with these, like trying to recreate what we had back home and trying to make me work harder, creating obstacles. And I know it was from them wanting to like, thank you, Willow. I know it was from them wanting to help, or that was their way of like trying to mother or nurture. But it's like that's what we need to realize as people of color, especially black people, that some of the ways we have learned to nurture ourselves, to nurture our families, has been toxic. Like some of the ways we learn to pass on stuff to our family and build our families, it's just been, it's toxic. you know. And so I think moving away is a good thing for that. As long as the person isn't running away. And I think most people need to be real with conversations like that with themselves. Like, am I going because I'm going, or am I going because I'm running for something? Because if I'm running, just know it's going to show up. Because my first 6 months in the jungle, we was literally in the bush, gal. On no one around, okay? Like, we was in a bush, like, and monkeys in our backyard, okay? No internet for the first 3 months. Not enough money to like to even get a taxi to go to town some days. Like going to the Chinese store and buying one roll of toilet paper, not the whole pack, because that's one thing I like about Belize. You can go to the store, open some shit, and be like, I just want this one, and they will let you get it, okay? But we was going to the store, you know, but our family and people who was even seeing us hearing our accents, they not thinking that because they like, oh, you American, so you already came here with money, you already whatever. And it's like, no. Then people back home don't understand because they like, well, you know, move to the jungle, you on vacation. It's like, no, no. You know, so like it's a very deep, it can be a very deep process. I see a lot of people, and that's why I be feeling like they don't be wanting my YouTube to pop, which I don't get. Because first off, I'm intelligent, okay? Look at this face, and I'm talented. But anyway, I be speaking the truth. That's why they don't want it. But a lot of people, I don't know, a lot of these people don't be telling the truth. A lot of people just showing y'all pretty stuff, and but people ain't telling y'all the real. Like, as a black person, wherever you go, you a black person. Okay, you ain't never gonna really fit in anywhere. So home needs to be in your bones. Home needs to be beneath your skin. Home needs to be in you. Okay, and that's per. And I think that's why we so connected to God too, because we're all connected to God. Everybody's connected to God. But the way God be showing up, and I'm from a Pentecostal church, so you know, I don't practice that no more. But that's what groomed me into the woman that I am. So the way it's just it's something too significant about it, you know? And it's like we still are always looking for things outside of ourselves, and we even go other places, and then we try to make that, you know, and it's like but that it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. And that's something that I've had to learn, because I go places with my heart on my sleeve. I'm trying to be community, I'm trying to have everybody be close, be open. And I came to the jungle too a little too fresh, okay? A little too fresh, you know, and the jungle sniffed it, and the jungle was like, ooh, fresh meat, okay? Then I had to bum up and remember that my mama was a Leo from Canton, Ohio, who was raised in the hood, who didn't play. Then I had to get back in my bag, but I forgot for a second, okay? Because I was so caught up in these ideas and these dreams, and it's like part of me that was kind of, you know, not really healing through the stuff, but still kind of being delusional. So that's the one thing. Listen, I love it and believe. I do feel very free here. I feel very free. It's just I do have my moments where people be trying me, or it's like they tried. You know, like one day I was walking through the center of downtown San Ignacio, and this Belizean guy yells out to me, and he's like, American girl. You know, well, he ain't say it like that. He like, American gal, gal, gal. Uno from here. Like, you know, he yelling across the way, talking to me. And I'm just like, yo, like, first off, I'm blending in. I'm chilling. I'm not walking around here with a fucking American flag on my back. So I don't know why you calling me American girl. But it's also like, I just be laying low. I'm a private person anyway, so I don't really like, you know, I tell my business, but don't. But he came up to me and was like, what, you mad I called you American girl? You not Belizean. And I was just like, bruh, why are you, you know, like, why are you so what, you know? But it's something about my energy that, without me even saying it, it's something about our energy. It's something about, oh, hi, Chanel. It's something about our story that people just, I don't know. It's interesting being a black person in spaces where people listen to hip hop, people participate in black culture, people have black skin, but people are actually super disconnected from my story and my truth. Like, people, it's like it's ignorance. It really is, and it's also the way the world and propaganda. You gotta think about it. Belize is a very young country. It's like 40 years old. I think it's either 39 or 40. And so TV, Belize didn't get TV until 1950. I mean, no, lies, 1980. 1984. I was thinking about my brain, the number. Sorry, y'all. 1984 is when Belize first got like TV and stuff like that. Right now to this day, Belize still have like prepaid cell phones. Like you got to top up. Like even for the plans that you pay for consistently, it's still like a top up plan. You know, it's like it's still so you even got to think about, okay, for a country that got TV in the 80s, like how did they even get introduced to America? How did they even get introduced to black people, to white people? And it's like, so I have noticed, and I can't speak for all countries, I just, for the one that I'm in, I know like I have to navigate those things in a way that is still not making me have to kind of do too much work, but it's still also having compassion just for all of that. Even being in a space where there are other black people who have a different level of like liberation in their lives, with their connection to the earth, with the way they move, with their connection to the family. Even thank you, Oliver. Oh, like even with all of those things, it's still interesting though to navigate the ways the stuff that's loud in America shows up in other spaces. So even thinking about like racism, thinking about stuff like that, it's like here it's not black and white. It doesn't show up that way, but it's still there. There are still subtle tones of just like, and it's like, but also being in a space where it's like people are kind of comfortable in a way that, in America, it's like black people used to protesting and doing stuff, civil rights movement, like we used to all of that stuff. But being in spaces where people haven't had movements like that or haven't had moments like that, and it's like trying to bring change to black people in those spaces, or trying to bring consciousness or whatever it is, it's just been very interesting. And it's been, do I experience colorism? Yes, but it's more so like looks and stuff. So especially because obviously there's Spanish communities, and I feel like in the connection between black people and Spanish people is always so interesting, because there's tons of brown and black Spanish people, but it's like like I was saying in my being Black American video, it's like people can people don't have to choose blackness, like, and they don't really understand what it means to even embrace blackness. So, and part of that is because of them denying or being comfortable in their own narrative, or not really, like, it's interesting. But I feel like the colorism happens more so from like Spanish communities, not necessarily other people. The most interesting thing, like, cause it's a lot of black people here, like, like it's a lot of brown people. They just, the way they classify people, like if you are brown but have straight hair, like maybe an Indian, you would be called a coolie, which would be different from a Creole, which would be different from somebody who's just Garifuna, which would be, but even in all of that, all of them be mixed in, but so it's interesting. So I'm like, I don't experience colorism. It's the same type of stuff that I would experience in America, but it's in completely different ways. And in some ways it's like I'm not even experiencing it. It's just the way it's embedded into the societies. I think when you have a country that has a history of colonization and then it's built up on tourism, that kind of just enforces that colonization, because everything about the culture here is geared towards outside people. Is like even them holding on to their culture is kind of like geared towards how to sell this to other people. So I think being here has really given me a space to like grow in my experience that like I couldn't have if I was in America. And I think I was a person who secretly really did just be like, why am I from America? And so I needed to come and see America from a different perspective, to even embrace the gift in being a black person, an indigenous African American, it's just interesting. But I do think people should travel. I do think people should go other places. I just want my people, when we go places, for us to go and to bring energy, to be good space holders, to not go the same things that we've seen done to our people. Like to not just go and still be the same. Like we all need to. I don't know. We just need to heal, y'all. We need to heal, and it's 'tis the season to us get out of our own way. Yeah, my mama lived there, so I'm gonna go back to the U.S. Like my goal is to be honest, Corona. threw me off, okay? Because I kind of just felt like I got sat still. Like, because I was about to start, dipping and diving. But after the virus happened, it really did make me rethink. And so I am going to go back. I'm just more so trying to go back when I feel like I want to see if the zombies come, okay? I try to wait out the zombies, okay, and then I'll see. But I'm gonna have land there. I'm gonna like that's the land of my birth. Like that's my home, like homegrown. So I'm definitely coming back. I just am like I was telling y'all at the beginning of this live. For me, for everybody, especially Black women, we need to preserve ourselves. This is the time for us to get grounded in ourselves, to preserve ourselves. This is the time for us to catch up with ourselves, to heal ourselves, to really be firm in our power, and to allow who we need to be to come forward. And so I don't feel like I can all the way do that when I'm in the States. And so right now I'm gonna stay where I'm at just so I can, keep healing and growing and being open, and but I'm definitely coming back, okay? Cause yes. But yes, Oliver Grant, what's your question? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? Whoa, 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 whoa. What's poppin'? My cat is being ridiculous. I'm probably about to get off of here soon, y'all. This was so great. I've never been on live this long before, and I'm gonna start doing this more often because I I want to go live, but then I slip the ego, that little voice in your head, like you talking to nobody, you're crazy. Why are you even doing this? I'm just like, just get past that, okay? I started off with zero. Rosemary, that's my cat. I love her. You wanna look at her? Look at her. She over there, Rosemary. Say hi. We just moved, so my room is messy, okay? We still don't got no furniture, so everything's just on the floor. But I just, yeah, I don't know, y'all. I'm so grateful, and I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna go live every once in a while because this was fun, and it wasn't as nerve wracking as I thought it would be. And I'll be on Instagram, Sun Fables on Instagram. What's the probability of finding a revolutionary love? Ooh, child, come here in a relationship. You want the number one crime in Belize is passion crimes, okay? These Belizean men is crazy, and the women too. But domestic violence, I know that's a little dramatic, but it be real here. Like it be real here. I've also heard, who is that? Tabitha, I love you, girl. I'm a message you. I've also heard Belizean women and other women who like other Spanish women who like, because there's a lot of people here from like Guatemala and places like that. But I've heard them talk about the ethic of Belizean men, or just even, it's a very interesting culture. So I would say, maybe try to already have that together, or really be open to like having to do some work, okay? So, cause like I was saying, it's a culture that's kind of been built up on tourism, and so even when other people come here from other places, it's kind of like there is a part of them that be plotting too. Like, all right, I'm gonna marry me somebody because they gonna give me that, like. So you just gotta. That's what I'm saying. It's a jungle out here, okay? It's a jungle out here. What Belize taught me is that everybody is out for themselves, but don't take it personal. You just be out for you in a way that is not harmful and toxic to others. And God will always make sure you all right, okay? But you gotta think, think with that. You gotta think. Okay, y'all. I know I'm probably about to tap out of here and get my woo. I'm so grateful for everybody who done tapped into this live, because I did, like I said, I will go live more. Thank you for saying that, Kashana. I'm gonna pop on and stop overthinking everything, okay? And just have a little faith. Can we do a fast together? Who is AJ? Do I know AJ? If that's my AJ, if that's who I think it is, then yes, we could do a fast together. And if anybody else wants some talk or anything like that, hit me up on Instagram if you're looking for some coaching or a spiritual reading, okay? Just holla at your girl like it's Sabe, okay? I got you. But yeah, Chanel, I love you, girl. Man, when we had that little misunderstanding, I was so sad because I was like, I didn't talk to this girl in a long time, and I hope I didn't like just ruin it. So hit me up, girl. Because I love you, okay? Always. Anybody who knew me when I was under the age of like 15, we friends for life. That's That's what happens, okay? So just tap in whenever you want to. But I'm afraid I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. But I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tapping in with me. It's your girl, the Hood Alchemist, here bringing you the art of transformation infused with so much flavor and so much culture, y'all. Cause you know, it's just what it is, okay? But I love y'all, and I hope y'all have a good night. I hope y'all have a good night. And remember that all is well. I'm gonna sing y'all this little song. All is well. All is well. All is well in my soul. All is well. All is well. All is well in my soul. Ooh, in my soul. Yeah, 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 yeah. In my soul. I love y'all. Tap in, watch my latest videos if you haven't. Have a good night. Have a good night. Have a good night. Hey, hey, hey.